I love green. I love it so very much. No particular reason, it's just my favorite color. It's a defining trait of mine. Nick likes green and Nick likes turtles. I've kind of made up my mind about everything at a very young age. I've stopped keeping track of how old I am. Got up to 5 and just stopped. Didn't see the point. And I know what you're thinking. What even is this channel? He's apologizing for games, he's apologizing for movies. Now he's talking about garbage food. Yeah, pal, I do what I want. You know how easy it would be to fill up this list with green food you're supposed to eat? This isn't a top 10 list of salads. This is a list full of bad decisions. We're listing off the top 10 green foods that shouldn't be green. Rules are pretty simple. It can't be naturally green, can't be a flavor normally associated with green, and Shamrock Shakes, while beloved and respected, will not be on this list. It has to taste the same as it would normally, but the only stupid difference is the color green. Oh yes, there's enough items here to make that a reality. This is going to be a real dumb video.
Hey, where are you hiding now?
Last Halloween, Burger King decided they'd celebrate the season by bringing out a burger with a green bun. And you better believe I was super stoked. Look at that beauty. But why so low on the list? Well, in my old stomping grounds of Iowa, there exists a burger chain called Zombie Burger. People will tell you it's the best, and they are liars. It's real gross. It just has a cute aesthetic. I get it, the menus look like newspapers from the apocalypse. But they put Twinkie and Kool-Aid in their shakes. Guys, that's not cooking. That's what an 8-year-old puts into a cup and dares their friends to drink. It's disgusting. So why am I talking about it? Because the Nightmare Burger would be more fittingly categorized as a zombie burger than anything on the menu of Zombie Burger. Look at this thing. If a burger could die, this is what the reanimated corpse would look like. You could tell the green coloring didn't really take hold in the bread, and it just ends up looking sickly. As for the meat in between, well, there's a dried chicken patty, the usual garbage burger, and bacon. Overall, it's a pretty nasty burger. I've had two. I hope they bring it back next season. So a trend you're going to see for a lot of this video, a lot of these green foods have been colored as a promotional tie-in with some sort of franchise. So don't be too surprised if you see this guy here more than once. At first glance, there isn't much to indicate there's anything different about this Snickers, but once you bite inside, hot doggy, green nougat! This is about as minimal of an effort as you really need to do for a promotional tie-in. I mean, they didn't even bother coloring anything else, just the nougat, the worst part of a Three Musketeers bar. But maybe they were going for a deeper message. Snickers have layers, like an onion. Also, it looks like cartoon snotting. That's hilarious.
Hey, you bastard!
So while I would love to put the Ghostbusters Key Lime Twinkies on this list, unfortunately, they did flavor it like lime, so it gets the boot. But thankfully, Shrek is back once again to fill the center of a treat with his green gooey goodness. That's right, like his sequels, Shrek is already back much sooner than anyone would have liked. It's a Twinkie with green filling. Let's not dabble too much on this. We have things to do today. For the past 20 years, Bruegger's Bagels have colored their plain bagels green on St. Patrick's Day. They're so popular that you have to pre-order these things if you want to make sure you get one. I know a lot of bars have green beer on St. Patty's, but I don't drink, so you get bagels instead. But what's better than a bagel? Well, what about a bagel you douse in stupid amounts of sugar and turn it into a donut? Yes, green donuts! Krispy Kreme also celebrates St. Patrick's Day by coloring their plain donut green. We're just gonna slap both the bagel and the donut together in the same number because, well, I don't know what else I was supposed to say about the donuts that I haven't already said about the bagels. They're basically the same thing, except you feel like one is a healthier breakfast choice. They're both celebrating St. Patrick's Day, and I still have no idea what anyone is celebrating on that day, but whatever, give me more green things!
Found you, Lenny!
So this one is a little more interesting, because technically this was not made for some promotional tie-in or a holiday celebration. A few years back, a Redditor posted a picture of two bright green potato chips he found in his bag of Lay's, and sparked the interest of the community. It didn't remain a mystery for too long, as the Lay's employees explained, and then another later followed up to confirm, that these chips are intentionally dyed a bright green to help test the time it takes to fry the things. Apparently, it makes them really easy to spot and helps them out with the test. I'm sure if I used any amount of brain power, I can probably understand the logic behind that and piece it together, but I'm doing a video about green junk food, and all I really care is that sometimes you can find green chips in your bag, and that is akin to finding a golden ticket in my eyes. Except instead of a weird and wonderful tour through a candy factory, you get a chip that tastes the same as every other one in the bag, but now it's green!
Do I look like a Lenny to you?
You all remember this one, don't you? Just how unnerved everyone got once they saw dark green splattered across their burgers and hot dogs? Oh yes, I'm talking about green ketchup, my sweet baby birds. I remember all the other kids being seriously grossed out, and I was just the happiest boy at lunch. And not too long ago, Nickelodeon actually cross-promoted with Walmart's generic branding to bring slime-colored ketchup. Yes, I did buy a bottle, and yes, it is still in my fridge. And thanks to the green coloring, I'll never be able to tell when it goes bad. It will be beautiful forever.
Ready?
A fairly recent addition, thanks to Hollywood yet again attempting to stretch out the timeless Dr. Seuss classic into a feature-length movie, we got some green pancakes at IHOP to celebrate The Grinch. Now, the pancakes are no different. They just added some green food coloring and poof, there you go. But it's green, so I was all in. All they really do differently in terms of toppings is just add icing and sprinkles and, well, your pancake basically just becomes a cake at that point. It hurt my stomach when I ate them, and I've eaten them 3 times. I want more.
Banana, boy!
If there was one good thing to come out of Ang Lee's Hulk movie, it's the fact that they did a promotion with Hershey's to produce green chocolate syrup, which leads to, you got it, green chocolate milk. Can you make this concoction even better? Why, yes you can. You can make it green. And I was pooping green for weeks. Man, I miss this stuff.
There you are, Lenny.
Now, before I get to explaining number 2, some of you are probably going to feel like this should have belonged at number 1. But, well, I'll get to why I chose my number 1 spot when we get to it. As it is, though, there are few promotional tie-in foods that can match the long-lasting glory of Ecto Cooler. Now, even those familiar with the drink may be thinking, hold up, that has always been green, what are you talking about? But nay, you silly Billy! That is not the case. Not at all. Ecto Cooler is an orange tangerine flavored drink from High C, and that associating fruit would lead you to assume that it would be colored orange. Well, once upon a time, it was, and went by the name Citrus Cooler, a drink they had around since the 60s. It was later colored green and renamed Ecto Cooler as a promotional tie-in with Ghostbusters 2. The drink proved so popular that it lasted well past the movie and lingered until 1997. Even when it dropped the Ghostbusters tie-in, with some renaming, the green color still remained for quite some time. After a bit of shuffling around, it finally died off in 2007. It did come back from the grave in 2016 to promote that Ghostbusters movie everybody loves so much, but again, it was discontinued by the end of the year. Still, I don't feel like we've seen the last of Ecto Cooler. And when it comes to this silly list, no cheap, stupid tie-in junk food can really match the legacy of Ecto Cooler. But there is still one more I hold in a much higher regard.
You'll never take me alive!
There has been one franchise that's been strangely absent from this list. We've had Shrek, Grinch, the Hulk, Ghostbusters, all well and fine. But there is a noticeable lack of 4 Bodacious brothers on this list. Well, that's because they're right at the top with the one food item I dearly miss above all else. The Hostess Turtle Pie. Look at these things! Look at it! They didn't hide the colors on the inside like that coward Shrek. This is loud and proud and dares you to stick it in your mouth. This pie was a thing of beauty, and it didn't have some stupid lime flavoring. This was stuffed full of vanilla pudding and wrapped around a sugary crust, and I don't know how I don't have diabetes. I don't care if you feel like Ecto got shafted. I don't care that I made this entire list out of nostalgic memory for garbage food. Turtle pies rule. Bring them back! Bring them back to me! Just give me this horrific sugar trash and throw it into the dumpster that is my mouth! Did I miss anything? Tell me and I will eat it! Happy St. Patrick's Day!